Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this, which is barbecued pork, Thai style. I'm going to be cooking it on a Thai barbecue using a recipe that one of my friends taught me. So let's take a look. These are the ingredients you are going to need. You're going to need a whole garlic. You're going to need a tiny bit of salt, about 1/4 teaspoon. You're going to need about 2 tablespoons of pepper seeds. You're going to need 4 coriander plants, but we're only going to use the roots of those. You're going to need some oyster sauce. Best to use Thai oyster sauce for this. And you're going to need some soya sauce as well. And you're also going to need 1 kilogram of pork. You're also going to need a mortar and pestle. So first we are going to peel the garlic. So separate them out. Cut the end off the garlic and then crush it so that it's easy to peel. So peel the garlic and then we're going to cut it coarsely so it's easy to break up in the mortar and pestle. Do that with every clove. Once you've got your coarsely cut garlic, we're going to add it to the mortar and pestle. Next we're going to coarsely cut the coriander also, and then add that to the mortar and pestle. Next we're going to add about 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and then 2 tablespoons of pepper, and then we're going to grind that up. You can use a spoon to clean your pestle. So ideally you want your peppers cracked and your garlic crushed. Get all those flavours mixing together. So I ground that for about 1 minute. Then we're going to scrape that into the bowl that we're going to marinate our meat in. And next we're going to add 4 tablespoons of oyster sauce and 3 tablespoons of soya sauce. And then mix all that together. So then cut the pork to whatever thickness you want. I find generally about 1 inch to 1.5 inches, or around 30 millimeters is a good thickness for cooking. You can use any cut of pork. I've done it with loin, I've done it with ribs. Generally my Thai friends would use either the shoulder or the hip like this. So it's got that piece of fat and the skin, which gives it a nice flavour. So then we are going to add the pork to the marinade and mix it up so that it's nicely covered. And we're going to let that rest. You can let it rest for between 1 hour, probably the minimum. My friends would let it rest for 6 hours, so it's quite a long time. You can put that in the fridge and come back to it later to cook. So this is my Thai barbecue. It uses charcoal as the fuel. Some people seem to have trouble lighting these, but I don't really have any problems. This is how I do it. So first you put a layer of paper on the bottom. I often put some cardboard in as well, but I'll just use paper today. So roll the paper up into tight little balls. Next I cover that with some sticks or kindling. Generally just use the skewers from some of the street food that I buy. So I just buy the charcoal in little bags like this in Thailand. You can get charcoal pretty easy in other countries as well. So next put some of the smaller bits of charcoal over your wood. You're just going to start with the smaller bits, and once they get going you can add larger pieces after. So after that I pour some alcohol over it to make the process even easier. So after you've poured a bit of alcohol over it, stand back and light it. In lots of countries you can get kerosene fire lighters. You could certainly use them, but I haven't found them in the area where I live in Thailand yet, so this is the way I do it. And there we have our fire. So these things have got a vent in them. Ideally you want it turned towards the wind so that it will give the fire air, because that's the one thing it needs from here on until those pieces of charcoal really start going. Sometimes you may need to fan it as well with a piece of cardboard to give it a bit more air from the top. So I'll let that all burn for a few minutes until the charcoal is well and truly on fire, and then I'll add some bigger pieces of charcoal and then let that burn down for a bit until it's a nice even fire. So I've moved the charcoal to kind of even out the heat around the barbecue. Also I had to move the barbecue because the sun's now come out, and in my old spot it's very sunny now. So I'm going to put the barbecue plate on and let that heat up. So it's just like a mesh plate so that the flavours from the charcoal go through. And I've got the pork here, which has been marinating now for about 4 hours or so. As I said before, the longer you leave it, the more flavoursome it's going to be, but minimum of 1 hour the flavours do start getting through it. So we'll get some of this pork on the barbecue. You may find that you do get flare-ups from the flames, so just be careful of that. You may need to turn the pork or even remove it from the barbecue temporarily to let the flames die down. And do keep your eye on it, because otherwise if you go away you may come back and find that it is black. So I've thinned it out a bit because I was getting too many flare-ups. Any leftover marinade, once you turn your steaks, you can put the leftover marinade on with a bit of extra moisture and a bit of extra flavour as well. Ideally the steaks should be brown when you turn them over and not too black. If you want to check if they're done, you can slice through a bit, and that will also help with the cooking process as well. Okay, so I've sliced them through and there's no sign of blood, so they are all done. And there we have our Thai barbecued pork.
I saw your face painted on the wall, shapeless in space, colorless and small. I remember you.
So there is a piece of our pork. It's cooked right through. And as you probably know, in Thailand, meats are generally served pre-sliced, so I'm going to slice that thin, and then that might be served with a salad or some other dishes. Generally Thai people eat lots of dishes. There might be 4 or 5 dishes, different dishes at one meal. Some rice and the dipping sauce. So I finally finished my barbecue pork and it is looking pretty good. So generally Thai people eat with a spoon and a fork, and the food is cut up into bite-sized pieces generally, or if it's not, it's pretty easy to separate it. So it's a pretty spicy dipping sauce that I made there. That is really good. Tastes sort of lemony and a bit salty. Bit sweet. It's got a nice mix of flavours there, and the pork is really tender. One thing I should mention is in Thailand people eat from the spoon. You use the fork to push your food onto the spoon as well. So yeah, so dip that in there. That is delicious. My friend cooks it quite a bit and never fails to please. So try that one out at home. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you liked the recipe. Please give it a big thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed, subscribe. There'll be more recipes coming soon, as well as lots of other videos about life in Thailand. So I'll see you next time. Bye.